United are kind of in rebuilding mode. They've been linked to two new forwards, which would kind of imply that they're already banking on a Rashford sale. Of course, he's been on a mid-season loan to Aston Villa and has been impressive in there. So what can you tell us is going on at Old Trafford?
The priority for Manchester United, Cara, in this upcoming transfer window is attack. And they are looking at a centre forward and a number 10 as their main focus. They want to get on with it pretty quickly. The finances are in place, as I understand it, to do the deals they would like to do. They do not depend on European football, I'm told, nor on sales to necessitate them. Their main focus for the number 10 position is Matheus Cunha of Wolverhampton Wanderers. He has a £62.5 million release clause. He wants to come, we're told, but personal terms would still need to be agreed, which is not a formality. Let's see if other clubs come in for him as well. But there is optimism at Old Trafford that they can land him. They have alternatives, the likes of Antoine Semenyo at Bournemouth and also Tyler Dibbling at Southampton. But Cunha is the one they are focusing on. It's not close just yet, but I could see this one developing rapidly. In the striker position, it's Liam Delap of Ipswich Town as their number 1 target. He has a £30 million release clause if Ipswich are relegated. But there are a lot of other suitors for him, including Chelsea. So there's no guarantee that will happen. I think Liam Delap will decide before the European Under-21 Championships on where he wants to go. If Manchester United are to look at others, I'm assured it will not be Victor Osimhen. Despite reports you might be reading, he is not on the agenda for Manchester United. They will have other options because they might have to turn to them, or they stick with internal solutions such as Erasmus Højlund and they focus on other positions. Those other positions may be dependent more on sales, the likes of Rashford, who you talked about at the top. Aston Villa have a £40 million option to buy him. Let's see if they get into the Champions League and whether they are the proposition that he wants to join, and also that they can afford him. I think he could also go elsewhere, of course. He's always liked the idea of somewhere like Spain, Barcelona. We'll have to wait and see. He wants to be in the Champions League. He doesn't want to be in London, we're hearing, and I don't think he has a future at Manchester United. Those funds, on top of perhaps Jadon Sancho going to Chelsea on a permanent basis, Casemiro maybe leaving, Antony, Malacia, let's see what happens with Højlund, moving Eriksen and Lindelof's wages off the bill when they expire in their own terms at the end of the season, could raise a lot of money that Manchester United could reinvest. And I don't think their targets are going to change based on whether they're in Europe or not, or what competition. They're pretty sure in what they want, and they're going to try and do it in a busy summer at Old Trafford. One thing they don't want to have to do is replace Andre Onana if he can prove himself, because a new goalkeeper was not on the agenda. Certainly not a number 1. So let's see if he can turn his form around, stay at Old Trafford and try and provide a bit of stability between the sticks. But there's plenty else that will happen, and we'll keep.
Well, we start the Sauron Sports Desk with the future of Marcus Rashford. We understand that he wants to play Champions League football next season, but will not be rushed into a decision on his future. For more on this, we're joined by our senior reporter, Melissa Reddy. Melissa, very good afternoon to you. Rashford's future is still undecided as it stands. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Marcus Rashford hasn't had any discussions over his future yet, and he's actually only planning on making a decision around mid-June. We do know, though, that he has some preferences, that is to play for a club with Champions League football. I am told, though, he has no willingness to move to London and to feature for one of the clubs there. And I'm also very strongly told that Rashford has no interest in being involved in any part exchange deal that Manchester United may be considering now. He does have a very good working relationship with Unai Emery. He's quite content at Aston Villa. He's loved how the club have unlocked his game, and he's feeling like he's in love with football again. Villa, as we know, have that £40 million option to sign Rashford permanently, but they've not made a decision over whether they will action that option yet. And the feeling with the Rashford camp is there will be a lot more suitors for him this summer than there was in the winter window. And that actually might work in all parties' favour. It gives Rashford more options to choose from. But if there are more bidders, then United can get a higher fee than that 40 million option that Villa have.
Here's a question, though. Can you see him playing for United next season, or is that just so unlikely?
No, there was a complete breakdown in the relationship between Marcus Rashford and Rúben Amorim. You saw that the head coach didn't appreciate his application or his attitude, and the player just wasn't responding in the way he has under Unai Emery at Aston Villa. So clearly something is not working with Rashford and Manchester United, and the club feel that a fresh environment has worked wonders for him, and the intention is to continue that on a permanent basis. Now, I've spoken to people from both sides of the story, from the United end, from the Rashford end, and the only way I can see him representing his boyhood club competitively again is if Amorim and a lot of the senior executives are no longer at United. Now, we know that's not going to happen in the short term anyway. And United are planning to bring in attackers this summer, and they factored a Rashford sale into that equation. So Rashford planning for a life after United, and they are very much planning for a life after him as well.
I mean, they're desperate in that position. You think of what Manchester United are playing now. They've obviously let Jadon Sancho go, they've let Rashford go, they've let Anthony go. So 3 players who are obviously natural, more sort of players who travel with the ball. They're playing with Garnacho at the moment, but then they're lopsided. You know, on the other side, they've either got sort of, sometimes it's Xerxes when he was fit, or they've got Bruno Fernandes stepping up one in moments. So it's you know, Mason Mount's come in there, but they need someone who can beat players. They need someone who's equally as good running through the middle with the ball and travelling with the ball as there is. Maybe sometimes they'll go out wide and support the wing back. So he's a type of player that you could see Manchester United being interested in, that would suit this system that Rúben Amorim wants to play. And like I say, they've lost 3 players who play in that type of position, so they need to fulfil that. You know, they need to fill those roles definitely, or else they're going to struggle. They need to score goals, Manchester United. Rúben Amorim said at the weekend, we're just struggling to score goals. So you need players who can sort of take risks, good in the final third, and Cunha's got a lot of ability.
We've seen a few flashpoints from him though this season. Any concerns at all about Cunha the character, if not Cunha the player?
No, to be honest with you, I quite like, I mean, if I was playing against him, I wouldn't like a player with a bit of spirit and a bit of fight. If I was playing with them, I used to play with some unbelievable players, some of the very best in the world at their time, and they had a right sort of, attitude's not the right word, but they had the right spike to them. You know, think about Wayne Rooney, Carlos Tevez, Eric Cantona, you think about Mark Hughes, how tough and sometimes spirited they were in games. And, you know, sometimes they did the unpredictable, sometimes they lost their discipline. But they're amazing players. Now, I wouldn't, you know, obviously at the time that they get sent off, they know that they've let the team down, but what they give you in return is something special, and I love a player with a character.
Yeah, he's really turned the corner with his performances. He's been playing excellent at Aston Villa. You know, officially still is a Manchester United player, so for me, I'd love to see him back and playing that way and that well for Manchester United. And whether that happens, we'll soon find out. But I mean, I'd love to see him again at Manchester United.
Do you think there is that way back for him? Because Rúben Amorim talked about him maybe not being able to play the way that Amorim wanted to. Yeah. So what do you think he can get back into that team? Yeah,
listen, I think it's... I don't necessarily think it's just about his football skills. It might be personal things that, you know, between him and the club that, you know, they fell out with. But, you know, when you fall out, you can always make up. And then hopefully for me that happens.
Manchester United are preparing for a major attacking overhaul this summer, with reports confirming that the club is ready to offload 3 forwards to make room for exciting new signings Matheus Cunha and Liam Delap. The Red Devils, under manager Rúben Amorim, are targeting a more dynamic and youthful front line. Anthony Martial, Jadon Sancho, and Facundo Pellistri are the trio expected to leave Old Trafford either on loan or permanent deals. Their exits would pave the way for Wolves striker Cunha, who has impressed in the Premier League, and Manchester City prospect Liam Delap, known for his physicality and goal-scoring instincts. With Amorim determined to reshape United's attack, these moves signal the start of an ambitious summer rebuild. Fans can expect more action in the coming weeks as United aim to bounce back stronger in the new season.